Get ready, Chiefs Kingdom, to unleash your passion and excitement for all Chiefs content. With the up-and-coming sports media company giving you all of the Chiefs coverage. We are raising the decibels and embracing the community of Chiefs Kingdom. Elevate your fandom and join our team who loves your team. Red Kingdom Media. Welcome to week 3 edition of the Red Kingdom Media live post-game show. I am founder and host Clinton Petrie here as always, joined with Daily Dale and Lonnie. Boys, hell of a game we just had, 41-10. I think a lot of us kind of predicted that, but we were hush-hush about saying this exact thing would occur. So we saw about the right amount of points we were hoping to see over the last few weeks, and the defense gave up the right amount of points, but it was after garbage time, so I don't even know if you can count those 10 measly points they scored. I remember, like, I was walking out of the stadium. It was the third quarter, and I heard that Chicago kicked a field goal down 41-0 to be 41-3, and I was like, y'all are cowards. What are you So I knew it was done, and the rest of it was just words on a stat sheet. So Lonnie, give us your impression on the game.
Yeah, I liked it. Everything I seen, like I told Dale, I think we're like we were talking about that top 10 defense. Dale was saying top 5 defense. I think we're definitely hitting in that range. We're firing on all cylinders on that side of the ball. Mahomes has never had a good defense, so this is going to be a year where we see what Mahomes has on defense. We rely on our defense a lot. If our offense is not firing, expect Andy Reid to lean on that defense a lot because they're playing out of their minds, especially with minus Nick Bolton, their leader today, the middleman of that defense. They looked really, really good. And then the offense, I feel like we finally caught up. We're here. We're finally here. We finally have arrived. I feel like the Chiefs scoring over 20 points. That lets us know that the Chiefs are really back. They're finding their groove on offense, finding some things that they like. Travis Kelce found the end zone, which I love. Scott Moore just doing his thing over the middle. So just a lot of different things that I like with the offense and the defense. So I just feel like the Chiefs are back in form. The real test is going to be next week against the Jets.
Mm-hmm. Dale, your thoughts?
I'm definitely happy. This is definitely a great birthday gift for me. Trent McDuffie, another turnover, forced fumbles. Lonnie, I told you, we don't like interceptions. We like hitting. We gonna get it like that. But no, for real, overall, I'm just glad that the offense was able to get it together. They were able to make some plays. Someone that surprised me the most actually this game was Rashee Rice, even though he had that interception that was at the end of the game thrown by Blaine Gabbert. But throughout, he was actually, he was catching the ball, bringing it in, running forward, and he was getting his yardage. Had a couple times where he had a chance to get 2 touchdowns as well too. And then also Scott Moore looked like he's getting that connection with Mahomes, becoming someone that's very dependable. And I can see him actually, really getting that role more as the season go on. And then Travis Kelce had to show out for Taylor Swift. It was a phenomenal game. Got him a touchdown before they actually was sat. And honestly, even though that we saw those last couple of penalties on Jawan Taylor as well too, honestly, the entire line had a perfect game. They didn't give up any sacks. They didn't have as many pressures at all. And just really, of course, it's something that he's going to have to work on as the season goes on because it's blatant obvious now that they're, to me, picking on him. So other than that, defense played very well. They've been doing what they have been doing, like we've seen before. Like Lonnie said already, top five defense in my eyes. If they can keep it up, of course, we got to do this against the Bills, the Bengals, and then also the Dolphins as well too, who we'll be seeing later on in the year. But I think if they can keep it up, if we can keep them in that range of not allowing more than 20 points a game, this is a defense that's going to be great come playoffs, and we might actually see this defense win us a Super Bowl for once. So who knows? But it's been exciting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think my main impressions leaving that game was the Travis Kelce effect is real. And it doesn't matter if he's got all the stats or if he's just like himself being on the field. It's allowing everybody else to be themselves, make catches. Because I think we only saw like 1 or 2 drops total the whole game, which is, hey, that's still not good, but that's drastic improvement from the last 2 weeks we've been dealing with. So Travis Kelce made his name known again. he had a nice 69 yards, got in the end zone, had a couple like just tremendous catches, like you said, trying to show out for T Swifty in the audience there. So glad to have him back and good to use him in this form, get him out there, showcase him for a few plays, and then have him kind of hover in the background, let some other guys step up, and then rinse repeat. I think that was a really good formula. Also, use Isaiah Pacheco, and we're using Clyde quite a bit.
Absolutely, I was going to say that Clyde is finding his way and getting involved in that offense. I like how they're using them too. I seen them use him on fourth down. I seen him in the Jags game, so I knew he was kind of going to play a factor in this game. But I didn't know he was going to play as big as a role as he played, and he's just having some really, really good, decent snaps. And I just want to say to the Jawan Taylor point, I know he's struggling with that. I just feel like we got to kind of get some consistency, and not only from him, but from the refs, because I feel like he's lining up like that very consistently, even when he comes in or out the game, and he still kind of comes in and lines up like that. And he's not getting it called. So I feel like there's no consistency with the call. So it's really kind of hard for him to find a perfect medium and for him to play and be successful at the position if he doesn't know when it's going to be called and when it's not going to be called. So even if it's going to be consistently called, make sure it's consistently called so he knows that it's consistently wrong. Don't call it sometimes and then not call it another time. And like I told Dale, maybe it takes a thumbs up like the wide receivers give the refs.
Right.
Like, am I on or if am I not on? Like, you need to let me know before that we snap this ball. So we can kind of get on the same accord and not having those penalties, because that took away a touchdown. The Chiefs go up 38 instead of going up 34 there. So that's a big point swing. You gotta correct that type of stuff.
Yeah, on a broken play. That's Mahomes' specialty. If there's a broken play and you give him enough time, which his offensive line has shown time and time again they can do. Now, whether or not, Taylor and in some other cases, Donovan Smith and the others too, whether they get flagged holding or being illegally formed in order to protect Patrick Mahomes for that long to make sure he never gets sacked, well, we won't really know. But from my perspective, yeah, he was clean. He could have done whatever he wanted again. I was gonna ask because I didn't really see who was the other tackle, because I saw
Wangu. Wangu.
He came back because I thought I saw him go down. So he
did
came
go
back
down.
into the game.
He did go down. He came back.
I think actually I saw Taylor at the last part of the game. Like once Chris went out because he was read out for the rest of the game, they said Taylor go ahead and go back in because the offensive line, they finished the game anyway. They didn't bring any backups in, so that's who they went with throughout. But I was glad to see him go back in there though.
Yeah, I was concerned. Like, hopefully this isn't a crack in the.
And I want to talk about Chris Jones too on third down, right? Chris Jones on third down coming off the edge. I know we talked about it previously, and I know Clint said he really wasn't a fan of it, but I love it. I'm starting to love it even more. He's getting that pressure. Like we said, it's not always the sexiest, right? And it's not going to always be the prettiest, but I think he's so big. He's just as big as your tackle. So when he makes his move, it's probably not as sexy as it would be if it was a 5'9" guy or a 6 foot guy. So he's kind of just stepping around and disrupting everything. I love it. I love to see it. I really like that, bringing him in just in those pass rush situations instead of kind of having him out there the whole time. Even though in those desperate games and desperate situations when teams are driving, I know you're going to have him out there, but I really, really love to see him out there on the edge on third down, just kind of beating tackles, roll running tackles, and just really because like I told Dale, he was beat on that play. He just kind of just stepped around him and did what he wanted to. He's so big. It's going to be different. It's going to look different, but I'm telling you, it's dominant.
Right. Yeah. I think I need to change my saying. It's like, I don't dislike him on the edge. I like it when he picks out who he thinks is the worst offensive lineman on the other team, and he just stands in front of that guy the whole game. That's the formation I like. Wherever that is, if he's always on the edge because the league's got bad offensive tackles, so be it. Go ahead.
But with the Chris Jones thing, what I was saying, and like Lonnie Wu was talking about it earlier as well too, with him and how his contract negotiation went, and with the incentives that he has to meet, I think we're going to see him definitely on the edge more often, because it seems like he got a lot more lean. He doesn't have all that fat anymore, and he's moving pretty fluently. So when he's beating those tackles and he has the same height as them as well too, I think he's taking advantage of that, because as you're going around that left tackle, and I've been saying it multiple times, or right tackle at that moment, Justin Fields, he didn't have nowhere to go. You're trying to run to the outside, and with his length, he's able to grab onto you. So that's why he was uncomfortable throughout. He was stumbling a lot as well too, because you really couldn't go through those creases like you want to be able to extend the drive like we have seen him done before. So really shout out to him. And often I seen him being double teamed a lot in that inside as well too. So in those moments when he needs to go after the quarterback, I think he's like, okay, let's go ahead and put Dana, put Nadi in the middle. Let me go ahead and get on the outside, have Karlaftis on the other side as well too, because Dana is monstrous in the inside, in an interior defensive line game. How he just ran through him like that, I was like, he's getting his money. We was talking about Clinton. We were saying, I don't know if you're gonna get 10. Hey, he might get 10. He might gotta get a 2-year, 3-year deal with us. But I'm just loving how it's coming together though. If we can see this consistently throughout the entire season, I'm okay with bringing them back next year. I like what I'm seeing, and the DBs are playing phenomenal. So this defense, they looking tough.
I agree. My to finish my point, I think from the Washington defense, it seemed like every group took their turn in like taking over. Like the first quarter, first half was like the D-line saying, we got it, we don't need anything here. Then the linebackers started making plays and needed to. And then the third quarter, we saw Trent McDuffie pop it out. We saw Justin Reed cause a hit that made Mike Edwards get an interception. So you just saw the different positional groups like take their turn. It almost seemed like, the D-line was getting there too fast. Well, they finally figured out how to do that. So now it's the linebackers to cover. Well, they did that. Yeah. Now you got to throw it over their head. Well, now they're covering that. So this is such a formidable group where it looks like, I can't wait to attack them here. And I think like a year, even like last year or a year or two ago, you would have said, the linebackers, just attack them and you'll probably win. You can't do that anymore.
Leo has grown into this defensive scheme. Drew Tranquil is showing the veteran skill set that he has. He can come in and fit in anywhere. Bolton, he was out today, but just seeing him out, it's like, y'all can do this without him. Your best tackler on the team, your man who's the leader on the entire defense. And then Willie Gay, you see how he knocked out Justin Fields, and he hit him legal too, straight right here in the neck, shoulder, neck, chest area. Had a stinger for him and like, let me get out. He woke up like, they're just playing with a lot of aggression, and this is something we didn't see in the past. We saw a defense that was serviceable. They were able to make plays. We had Tyron back there who was able to create turnovers, but this team is like, we're everywhere. We're hitting, we're covering, we're getting sacks. You can't expose us like you used to. So I can't wait till we play the teams like the Bills, the Dolphins, the Bengals, because once I see us dominate on that level as well too, it's like playoffs. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fun.
And I think Greg Olsen said it best. They're young, fast, and smart. I think it's the Chiefs, and then it's the Bears, and I think it's one more team after them that is like below 500. So, and I think the average age on the Chiefs team is 24 years old. So they're young, fast, intelligent. They already have the secondary already has a Super Bowl. They have their confidence. So like that's one of the worst things you really could have in a defense when you're trying to be successful, especially now with all the running and quarterbacks like to run. You got bootlegs and all of that. Only thing you can do is get younger, faster, and smarter. And the Chiefs have got a lot younger, faster, and smarter. We don't have a lot of older players out there. And those young guys are just really showing up, and the speed is starting to show just in little areas, like you said, like the defensive line, and just that side of the ball is starting to catch up, and it's starting to come around. It's just the younger legs are starting to show.
I think that Justin Field quote pretty much says it all, but the reverse. Like this, in the past years, we've had to see this defense like figure out what they're supposed to do in a situation, and always seems like they're a step or two behind. Now, exactly what you said. They are just boom, see, attack, ball, go get it. Yeah. It's like not even a thought in their brain. They have this all programmed to do every step. And like that's when a defense is deadly. When it's just, I know what I'm seeing. Go, no second thoughts.
And like, are y'all noticing like when they're getting outside of the pocket, like what's different from other years is like y'all talking about with the speed of the defense, right? They're not able to outrun them. Justin
Mm-mm.
Fields even had to take a slide, like, no, let me get down. I got the first down, but still was like it wasn't none of that extra stuff. Even when he was beating the outside containment as well, too, and how he had the angle, we had an angle on him. He couldn't get anywhere. He had to stand in there and try to throw it. So
Mm-hmm.
just seeing that, it's like, all right.
Yeah, they
Y'all
don't have a
it's starting
position
to come
group
together.
that is scared to hit too,
Mhm.
where tackling might have been a concern for a while. If it's one-on-one open field tackle, I'm not
They're doing
too
it.
concerned with anybody on our team making that tackle. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're playing with an attitude. Like I told Dale, it's really scary because it's reminiscent of San Francisco, especially just that front seven, right? When you get to interchangeable, and like Greg Olsen also alluded to during the game, they stay fresh. They rotate a lot of guys. Chris doesn't play and just standing there the whole game.
Yep.
Trying to figure out something. They're rotating guys. George is in the middle. Dana's in the middle. Spags, I think, is his scheme is really starting. His pieces are starting to like glue together, stick together. They know the positions. Dana's been in the system for about 3 or 4 years, so I feel like he's just got the people in the right spots, and he has that experience in the right places. And when you do it with in a system like Spags, that system is meant for you to play fast and for you to be able to confuse anybody you want to, and for you to just look really good and dominant overall, just because that's how they're playing fast. They're making tackles in open field. So I really think that it can be reminiscent of San Francisco when we get Charles Omenihu back. We don't even have a pass. We don't even have a marquee pass rusher other than Chris Jones. We're talking about our young developmental talent that we have on the team. So I'm just eager to see where we go from there when we get Charles back. See what we add at the trade, if we even add at the trade deadline. Because I mean, we usually sit here talking about what this defense needs and how we're not firing on defense and who we gonna add on defense. Are we going to get a pass rusher? And that's not the case now.
Nope.
We maybe want to add a wide receiver, or we don't know what we'll be doing, but that won't be the case now, just because that defense looks second to none right now. Really, just they look really good, especially with you got the Dallas defense coming out and looking as bad as they did against Joshua Dobbs. So I feel like the Chiefs are going to be in that conversation on Monday when we come back around on Overreaction Monday. As people like to say, is this the best team that we've ever seen with the Kansas City Chiefs? Just because the defense is playing at a top level, at a number one level, and then our offense, they coming out, you score 41. Is there something to be scared of now? As I feel like is the question.
Yeah, I mean, in those moments too, like I know we've been talking about the pass rush as well. It's been times where in that game I saw to where Justin Fields at times he did have time, but it was moments we could have had cover sacks as well too, because the DBs were definitely manning up on their guys. DJ Moore only had that one touchdown at the end of the game. I needed that for fantasy, so I'm not mad. But still, it was just like, okay, when you don't have it with the pass rush and they're out there trying to throw the ball and they're trying to get it downfield, okay, our DBs, I feel comfortable enough to where they're manning up on them. And even when they're playing the ball, I see them play the ball. So if they do get a catch, so be it. But at the same time, it was to the point to where the catch radius wasn't as great for them. And I see that they're at least hip to hip with them. So that's a plus size on that. But when attacking, Steve did it a couple times this game as well too, where he was on DJ Moore and just getting his hand up, making it a tougher catch for him. They're making them play the sidelines a lot more, and they're going to have to work on getting 2 feet in. They got to focus in a lot more. So really, it seems like they're when it comes to, I understand that we like turnovers, we like interceptions, but at the same time, they're doing their job of like they're not letting anything go. They're not getting a lot of catches caught on them. They're just playing their jobs, and I love to see that. We have seen the defense in the secondary that got eaten up a bunch. So really, as it comes on, these are the games where we kind of sometimes let them kind of pick on us a little bit, but at the end of the day, we're able to close it out. It was none of that. They're staying on top of it. Now with the offense going and they're coming at a steady pace as well too. They starting to like formulate and really have that chemistry. Super Bowl 3.
I was thinking during the game, it
Number
was
3.
like it was 24-0, and I was thinking, oh, okay, here we go. This is when Andy's going to press on the brakes and not go as hard, and the defense is going to lollygag because they know it's out of reach. And then to end the half, they just did nothing but put up 10 more points.
Yep.
So they didn't, do the best or the most explosive plays in the second half, but they didn't have to. But at least they knew, hey, keep going, because this defense is great, but you should always feel like the other shoe's going to drop at some point. Like, you've got Mahomes, you don't ever like expect it. You're not rooting for your defense to suck, but you're like, I know enough that eventually an offense will get to a defense at some point. Every good
Absolutely.
one get
happens
to
to the best of them.
Gets got
at least
and
one.
Mahomes has been the catalyst for that. No matter how good your defense is, we've faced top number one defenses in San Francisco, number one defense in the Eagles. And no matter how good your defense is, if there's a good enough playmaker on the other side of the ball, you will get got. And Mahomes is a catalyst of it. And he doesn't matter if he throws interceptions or not; he will still win the game. He's just been that anomaly as far as he's really showing that doesn't matter. So yeah, you are right. Eventually the offense will catch up, but the only thing that scares me about this, Clinton, is that the offense will catch up, and it looks like they're catching up. And when they catch up and they have good days, if you catch the offense having good games, a good game is 41 points. So if you are not having one of your best games against that defense, your probably score may look like the Bears score, and that's all that I'm saying. Because now you can't, and the defense could even give up 7. Even if they would have gave up 17, this is still a blowout. So it's like and they would have looked even better even if they gave up only 17. They would have still looked just as good. So
right,
they look really, really, really good. Eventually, like you said, they will fall off, but I feel like if Mahomes is not having too many bad days, scoring 17 and 7 and 20. You're not catching him too many times like that. So unless you catch him on a bad day, we might be seeing a lot of lopsided games.
But we had a balance offensively, though. Like, rushing wise, we had over 15. Well, it was over 30 plus rushes because Pacheco had 15, Clyde had 15, McKinnon had 2, and then Mahomes had 3 on his legs, and Gabbert had like the other 2 as well. So when you have a balance like that, and Mahomes only threw the ball, he had 33 pass attempts. So when you have a balance with the rushing game along with the passing game as well too, that's how dynamic this offense can be. And they talked about it a lot as well too. They used Kelsey a lot in those motions where it was able to open up the game. And then Lonnie, we talked about it earlier in the game as well too, where I saw that misdirection where he had Pacheco going to that one side. He did it so smooth. It was like one of those misdirection runs where they acted like they're going to this other side, but he's come back left. But how he did it, it was so quick. I was like, did he just switch hands like that? And it was a clean handoff. Pacheco took off, got about almost like 20 plus on that 20 plus on that game. So I think what Reed has to do when the running game is not there in certain moments, when we're playing other teams that probably play the run well, we got to stay on top of it and keep on going. We can't go away from it because it's going to open up the passing game for you later on.
Yeah, you and I both made points in our YouTube series videos we made about this, that like this offense is deadly when Andy Reid does go against his tendencies and runs the ball hardcore, because like Isaiah Pacheco, man, he's not going down first contact or second or third. You might get him on the fourth, and if his body touches the ground, he will immediately jump back up and run back to the huddle and ask for the ball again. So
and I think that messed with the defense's mind too.
Yes. When you have physical running, it like demoralizes you. Like, there is a drastic difference between throwing the ball every game and having your O-line just keep falling back, and running the ball, which is, I'm going to hit you dead on and I'm going to run you over. That like, it makes them feel some type of way. And I'm surprised that Andy Reid, being a former offensive lineman of himself, doesn't like tap into that mindset. Like, oh yeah, if I want the game to win, if I want to win, I got to get my O-lineman going. That's how I know that we're going to
downfield.
Yes,
see, but look, and I say this, I only say this to say, I kind of see Andy's philosophy. It just kind of like, this is the kind of the way that the game is going now. And I just heard somebody speaking on this recently. The wide receiver is the new running back. Back in the day, everybody used to want to play running back, right? But now everybody wants to play wide receiver. And if you pay attention to the pass game, anybody can get the ball. Not only can a running back get the ball, but your wide receivers can get balls. And then not only are you catching balls in Andy Reid's offense, the pass is an extension of the run game, as we know. Andy Reid's offense. So those quick screens, those bubble screens, those are all runs technically to Andy Reid. So, and those are starting to become runs to the rest of the league as well. So I feel like he's just ahead of the curve as far as when it comes to the pass game, especially with all these kids coming out now. Everybody wants the ball in their hand. The only way everybody's going to touch the ball is if you pass the ball. It's no more just hand it to one guy and let him do the work. Hand it to one guy, let him do the work. There's no offenses won't exist like that no more because we have Travis Hunters, we have all these other kids that are just ridiculous playmakers on the outside, and everybody wants the ball. And they start at 707. You start 707 when you're 10 years old. So like, I just feel like the league is just going away from that. He's just kind of ahead of the curve. But I will say this to say, Andy Reid has to stick with the run. Andy Reid and Matt Nagy have to stick with the run, especially after today, having over 100 yards on the ground between those two backs. I feel like you have to stick with that. You cannot go away from that. You give them a heavy dose of that going into this Jets game because that pass rush is lethal. And when I tell you it's lethal, they will be all over Mahomes just like they were just all over Josh Allen. And they will ruin Sunday Night Football for the Chiefs really, really quick in MetLife. So I feel like you have to stick with that run. That's the only way you keep that pass rush at bay. Being that you're dealing with all of the illegal formation and all the weird stuff, I think you need to keep Jonathan Taylor and Donovan Smith firing off that ball like they were in this previous game and really just roll running because I feel like that showed in the stats with Clyde and Pacheco going for 55 and then 62. I feel like that tells us everything we need to know as far as that run game goes. Like we have to do that.
Jawan Taylor for the rest of the season, I think, and I already said this before as well too. The light is already on you, brother. Just go ahead and move up on that line of scrimmage a little bit more. They want to keep on calling it. Let's not reflect on it because he has a quick back step as well too. So it's not like he's getting beat, in my opinion. You want to add on to it?
I just want to call out that because like it didn't look too bad from the seats, and I saw a tweet from Jeff Schwartz basically saying he's not illegally so
he's not.
He's just under a microscope because he plays for the Chiefs, and that's like an unfortunate thing, but it's something that he now has to account for. It was the idea that, okay, if give it a few more weeks, the refs will calm down, but it's not. It's going away. He's the focal point. He's getting all the scrutiny. So what got him his big contract is unfortunately now going to have to be altered and adjusted with how what is the thing he does best now if the thing he was amazing at, his first step, is now getting taken away because it's under that microscope. So now you've got to find a new strength.
I think
realize that.
Yeah, I think what he's going to do actually more in practice and probably over the, I'm not moving on to next season. We're still going to be fine, but I think as it goes, I think he's going to work on just probably having a larger step when he goes back. If he does have to play the line of scrimmage a little bit more, just because his quick feet is what makes him a great right tackle, and that's how he earned his money with the Kansas City Chiefs. So I think it's not completely taken away from, but he's just not going to be able to have that advantage that he usually has when he's playing with the Kansas City Chiefs. It's just, hey, bro, just move up a little bit. Like Lonnie said earlier before, go ahead, act like a wide receiver, check in, see if we're good to go. Great. And if you want to take advantage like that and you still want to do what you're doing, at least check in with them every time. Because now, if I check in with you and then you call it, now you're on board. Now we can talk about what is it? Now, what is it? What are we doing?
See, that's a good point, Dale, because wide receivers get that thumbs up to make sure they're in the right spot. How come we don't see that for the secondary or the D lineman? Hey, am I offside? Where's the line? Where's the line? Am I here? Am I here? Like, why don't we have that like check for everything? Why the wide receivers get the benefit?
And I think they'll give it to him, right? And I just think he has to ask for it. The ref is standing down the line, and we all seen a ref go like this before to a wide receiver. I feel like he gives them the option to. It's just not a lot of linemen do it. They're not coming they usually only got to report if they're eligible. Like not a lot of linemen have that problem, but I feel like just for him being under that microscope, put the onus on that ref now. Like Dale said, let me line up. It's quick to just hit a ref like this, even when the huddle breaks because everybody's not even set yet. Just hit him like this. You can hold it to your side as long as he can see you. He'll tell you step back or come up a little bit. So like it's nothing to do that. Take 2 seconds, do that. Now we back set, and now we hiking the ball. We ready to go. So it's like you have to do that. He's got to change something because Andy Reid is not liking it, and he's gonna pull you. He let it go for a long time, but we seen this one. It doesn't look like he was playing this one. And then even if he was, I feel like Andy Reid is probably like, all right, they got you under the microscope again. I'm gonna let you out, restart again. But if this happens again, Juwan, I don't see him continuing to just like this because it's inconsistency for Mahomes. It's not consistent for him. He needs to know who's protecting him. So he has to correct it. He has to.
And it puts Jawan in a positive light as well too, because it's now, hey ref, I'm not coming at you, I'm not arguing with you, I'm actually asking you because you guys are calling this, in my opinion, a little bit inconsistent. So when you're checking in every time, now you're gonna make it to where like, hey man, I'm not gonna worry about it, bro. You're good. Yeah. Because guess what? You're checking in with the wide receivers because all those motions, they're coming back and forth. You're down the line of scrimmage. You're checking in with multiple guys every play, and then you're gonna add on to the right tackle as well too. Yeah, because you want to keep on calling me for it. Am I good?
Yeah.
Am I good?
Yeah. I'll be interested to go through the games after tomorrow and check the stat and see how many offensive linemen on other teams got the same sort of penalties, because it did not look like as much attention was getting put on the issue itself as it was who they deemed the prime suspect of it. So like it shouldn't be about picking on players for like they're a talent. That's ridiculous. If you don't like it, then you make rules about it and try to fix it. You don't just decide, oh, now that it's on the main stage, now we're going to call it out and now make a big deal about it. So.
Yeah. I didn't like that either. That is true, Clint. I really don't think it could have been put any better. Yeah, don't do it just because the player, the name on the back of the jersey, and the team, the logo on the helmet. Call it consistently through the league. And like I said too, he got in later in the game and was lining up the exact same way. It has to be consistency. That's what I told Dale and our other friend that we were speaking to earlier. Right. It has to be, even if you're going to call it and you're not going to. If you're going to call it and flag it consistently. Flag
every
it
time.
Every play. Don't flag it when you get a touchdown, or don't flag it when there's a big gash in the run game, or don't flag it when you get a break off by traffic. Like, no, flag it consistently. Have some consistency with the flags that you're throwing. Don't just do it because that makes it look like you're picking at a name. That's why we're saying the things that we're saying, because that's what it looks like when you're just flagging it randomly, because those are like random flags.
If it doesn't happen the first offensive snap of the game, then it shouldn't be an issue, because how much difference is he making between snap 1 and snap 60 if they're both passing plays? I mean,
he's very consistent.
It's ridiculous. So if to that point, if it is, then call it 3 plays in a row the very first quarter. You're not back. Like, you're gonna keep costing him and make it an effort. And then the second he goes back and scooches up, call it again. But otherwise, keep the flag in the pocket. It's just causing unnecessary.
Because that's the only penalties they're getting too. Honestly, this offensive line is dominant. Just illegal formation, and then other than that, we're not holding, we're containing. And Lonnie, I alluded to this earlier as well too. We saw it in the game. They spoke on it. How this offensive line plays. They're not getting outside containment on Patrick Mahomes. That's why he's able to get outside of the pocket and make plays, because they're all forcing them to come inside and they're getting bundled up. That's perfect for a quarterback who's looking to stay in the pocket and move around as well too. They're as dominant. And really, I really want to continue. I want to continue seeing this throughout the season. Jawan Taylor, you'll be all right. But at the same time, too, with him keep on doing the same thing as well, it's going to start calling out the inconsistency of the refs again. Okay, what much of a difference, like you just said, Clinton?
And the biggest issue about that was they have referees in training camp during the summertime. So if you're not calling it during training camp when you are a referee, do not call it 4 months later in a game.
They need to know what's going forward when they get to the regular season.
True.
Correct.
Yes.
See, but look, and this is what I want to know though, because Andy said they spoke about this in training camp. and this is something that I don't think was ever brought to the forefront as Chiefs fans for us, just because it was never really a big deal. You know, like you said, when he came from Jacksonville, it wasn't really a big deal, so we weren't really focused and spotlighting him when we came into training camp. But he said the refs had spoken to Juwan about this during training camp. It's something that came up during camp. Like he said, he made his money like that. So it's something that I think the coaches are aware of and they know. It's just about kind of like how you handle it moving forward. You can't just like pull him every game. Like that's just demoralizing for his confidence. So you got to figure out another way to handle it. And you really can't make a ref not call it. Like we were just saying, Jawan is going to have to get on the line, and you're going to have to line up, and you're going to have to make sure you're with the tackles belt, because we can't make the refs not call it.
Yeah, it's going to take some sort of in-season adjustment, because if there was going to be a rule change about, you must be exactly this far and we will have all of these measures to prove or disprove how you're formed, they're going to need to do something for the rest of the season, because it can't be, hey, look at him. He's doing a flag. It's this game. Like, either make a point and do it every single time and force them to call it every single time, or like showcase, this guy is getting it. Hey, here's a film study, like Andy Reid in next week's press conference. Hey, I was looking at the all 22 of my game, and the Jets, we play them next week, and I noticed that their right tackle was as far as ours, and I didn't see any penalties on that guy. So it's going to take like that type of overt stuff, and Andy Reid just isn't that guy to do that. So it feels like it's going to be more of the, all right, Jawan, just place your bets, see how many times you get a flag this time, and let's hope it's not during a critical moment. But that's sketchy. You don't feel confident about that. Like you said, consistency. I don't want it to be the last play of the game, and that's when the ref has a problem with it.
Yeah,
and the conversation is a lot on Taylor right now. I'm sorry I had to shift it like this, but Tony disappeared.
He did. I think I wanted to just speak. I think that was just a toe injury. And like,
but he looked good after the first catch. Like, he looked up, running, bouncing, and everything like that. I know what Andy can do, but it just kind of threw me off. Like,
I think it was the injury. I feel like Tony hasn't had a lot of consistency himself, just being in the lineup. And Andy Reid is not one that lean on somebody that hasn't been available. And we know that with Sammy Watkins, you'll get 3 plays, or you'll only come in with 3 plays and just get your 3 plays, and you won't play the rest of the game. So like, Kadarius has been limited. He has been hurt a lot this year, which is unfortunate. So I feel like they just didn't game plan for that. We've seen a good rotation of Sky, MVS, and even Justin Watson and Rashee Rice. So I just feel like Kadarius is going to have to earn those touches again. He's in a spot where he's probably not on that up there in on that ranking anymore. Seeing that Rashee Rice is having big games right now, so
he's slowly dropping to that Sammy role, in my opinion. I think we're definitely going to be on the lookout for a number 1 wide receiver next offseason. I think whoever we got now, we can make it work playoffs wise. I think they're coming together. We've seen a lot of people get a lot of different touches. He threw to over 10 receivers this game, so I think now if they just don't drop the ball, they're fine. But I mean, I haven't gave it up on Tony though. We know if healthy, what he can be, but he's slowly falling into that position.
I don't think any of us should ever assume that he was going to be wide receiver 1 or line up in that one spot every single snap.
We wanted him to.
A guy. Well, we didn't watch him in college. He was a shifty guy that looked like a McColl or a Tyreek, and you don't have that type of ability or like explosive game-breaking type talent like that. Hey, your point about wide receiver, maybe the Chiefs can send all the picks and all the monies to Minnesota.
And I said
break
that.
The league.
I said that. I told one of our friends, right? I said he's probably tired of playing on turf, artificial turf. Come on, come play in Kansas City. We got grass here. If you got any soft tissue, non-contact injuries, go ahead and get off that turf. We got grass here, Jettis. We'll go ahead and give you 35, whatever you're asking for. We'll pay you more than Tyreek. And yeah, you can come take MVS's spot. We got a number for you and everything. He'll be gone. We cut him.
He's not in the same row. He's going to take multiple people.
And I just
Hey,
want to say,
MVS got in one catch and somehow got more than 50 yards.
And he ran the same route.
Yeah,
he runs a post route every time.
Post corner.
He runs a post corner or not. He does it. MVS only runs 2 routes: a post corner or a streak, a 9.
That's gotta say something too, because Andy Reid, like his whole playbook is like wide receivers have to make all these decisions based on what they see. So if the guy you're paying $10 million a year for, you deem only valuable enough to run 2 routes,
that's not
good.
That's not what you wanted. That's not what
you should have gave the money to Juju. You should have gave it to Juju.
That's who deserved it, because Mahomes, they heard it in the game. We heard it. I think it was press conference. No, not press conference. It was an interview he had with Derek Jeter earlier, right? He was talking about how Juju was and how important he was to the offense and what he found with him. Now with the younger guys coming in, it's like, of course, now he's starting to find his rhythm with them. But, he had it from Tyreek. He had it from Juju. He knew what they were going to bring to the offense, and he could rely on that. And what Justin Jefferson can do, we're not going to go into this talk very deep. Trust me, y'all. We know. We'll see what happens. We're not even going to go that far. But you bring over Justin Jefferson, you got a guy like Travis Kelce who is aging. I wouldn't say he lost a major step, but his little finesse is not as clean and pure that we've seen in the past. He still got it. And he's still recovering from that injury as well too.
Right.
But bringing in somebody like Justin Jefferson, that takes away from him, and he can still get his 1,000+ yards. Still, we saw what they did with Tyreek and Travis Kelce. Justin Jefferson, he's gonna be cheating.
We're seeing in Buffalo how that Dalton Kincaid, the tight end, is making a drastic benefit to the Buffalo offense. So whether he's getting all the attention or he drives the attention away or to Stephon Diggs. So, I agree. It's one of those dominant X-type wide receivers paired with Travis Kelce would be unstoppable. I think Rashee Rice and Sky Moore are kind of mimicking what Juju was best at. And I think Rashee Rice by the end of the season might be as good as we saw Juju be last season. And, Sky Moore, I'm back and forth on him. He has the talent. He doesn't always get the ball. I mean, he seems to get open quite a bit, and he makes most of the hand catches. So thankfully, the drop issues wasn't too big of an issue for him because he's a hand catching guy. He's not a bring the ball to your body type wide receiver anyway. So I think we'll see. The Juju might have deserved the contract, but New England's also saying he's like their 6th wide receiver. So
which I told Dale he's not been the same guy he was here in New England, and that's unfortunate. But
I think it's their scheme, though. If you're able to do this with Patrick Mahomes, you're supposed to be able to go somewhere, in my opinion, like the Patriots, and be able to do something. That's when it comes to what are you doing offensively? To me, we know what his role was in this offense. He's a guy he's a big body receiver. He can have those jump ball situations as well too, but we use him a lot in the slants and also a lot in the intermediate route game as well too. What are you doing? Are you trying to make him a guy who's going downfield more? You're trying to find that deep threat option. That's not his type of game. Now he has some big plays over with the Pittsburgh Steelers when Antonio Brown was there, but he was more of a smaller frame. In my opinion, during that time, he was a little bit quicker. He kind of grew into his body because he was very young when he got into with Pittsburgh. He was around 20 years old. He's like 24 now. So
and I feel like he found his niche here, kind of in the league. He kind of would have been able to make his stamp himself as what he was in the league kind of when he got here. That's kind of the guy he is now. As an intermediate, that in-between guy. Like you said, he is a heavier wide receiver. He's not really burning guys anymore. So that's who he is now. I feel like, and he kind of found that when he got here with Andy Reid. But Andy Reid is a guy that can scheme up anything for his wide receivers and help them find themselves. And I feel like he helped Juju find himself. I mean, he's now working with Bill O'Brien, who is like Not one of the best, but college guy, went back and forth from Bama. They got fired into Texans. So he's not been the best offensive coordinator. So I just feel like Juju, he has to be in a position where he's getting taken advantage of, and he's just it just wasn't. It's not a good situation there, but that's the situation he's in now. And like you said, I feel like Rashee Rice will step up and getting those touches. This is a guy that had a remarkable college stats. Like, this is ridiculous. So this is a guy that can be one of the best wide receivers on the team and really can be a number one. And being a rookie, he's coming in and looking as one of the best rookie wide receivers that Mahomes has had in a long time. Really good.
Yeah, just one final question. So we saw like a little bit. We saw Justin Ross come in the goal line situations, but did not see him get a target of any kind. Anybody want to predict when and if he'll actually get that red zone target at some point in the coming weeks?
He had one at the beginning of the game. He was the first throw to him. He almost had it complete, but he ended up dropping it. I think it's gonna come mid-season somewhat. It could happen next game as well too. But I think when we're in those first and goal opportunities on the 3-yard line, I saw him out there at times where he is on the far right side. I think they just probably had to actually call that play for him for that jump ball situation. I don't know if they feel like people are expecting that, knowing the hype that he had this offseason. But at the same time, I don't see a lot of them like doubling up on him. So I think it has to be a moment to where you just go ahead, just see what happens. Just throw it up. Be on the first and goal. Just see what happens. If he snag it, we know what we got going forward. But I don't think Andy Reid is just trying to rush him into the scheme. I think he knows the potential that Justin Ross has. He's gonna allow that game to come to him. And it's gonna be with him, with his route running ability, being able to get open, Mahomes had to see him in the open field, has to get it to him, sitting in those zones. He's gonna have to force himself to get involved in his offense. That's my opinion. I don't know how soon. I say probably game 7, game 6. I'll just throw that out there. We'll see it. Good.
All right, y'all heard it. That's how long you got to wait for Justin Ross to have any action whatsoever. So the hype train is real. He's on the team, but where is he? Is he on the field?
And I feel like it'll just depend. Like you said, if KT weeds himself out and continues to be hurt, we definitely gonna see more time from Justin Ross. If KD can start stepping up, Justin Ross time might get cut down. Rasheed's time might get cut down. We don't know.
Moving up.
Yeah, and if Tony is hurt in that way, maybe they need to change their packages and have it more of the big body wide receivers, so you can have that threat of running the ball with Isaiah Pacheco in those like more 2 tight end or 2 wide receiver setups that the team. The opposing defense wouldn't have assumed that we'd be running the ball out of a formation like that. So maybe if play calls or the way the game plan's going, they might use like bigger wide receivers and more tight ends to get those mismatches they want on offense.
Yep.
Well, guys, I think we've hit a pretty good snag towards the end here. Thankfully, we got to complain about a Chiefs victory that they dominated. So this is back. We're back in form, just like the Chiefs are. It took 3 weeks for the whole team to come back to form, just like we are to complain that we didn't win 70-0. Shout out Dolphins.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see y'all in Germany at 8:30 in the morning. Let's see if that game goes like 4 hours long because it's a touchdown every 2 minutes. Let's have that game go long.
I just want to see McDuffie and Snead. Let's see what they do as far as that.
McDuffie, dude, we're gonna have to come up with a nickname
and that
for
secondary.
Him because
that secondary in that
team. Island or something off of Revis because he's not getting targeted at all, dude. No one is throwing the ball in his direction.
Let's wait because that game is gonna be crazy, y'all. That game is gonna be hard.
I'm gonna be childish. You know we're not gonna do this. Chase Keenum, I know you gotta do this. We're not gonna do it. I just want to, just disrespect Reek just because how he did this. We leaving you 1-on-1. Get open.
Whoa.
Get open.
Never. With who?
He's gonna expose that.
Never. We're not leaving him open.
He gonna lock him. Young boy.
Expect a lot of zone, but they will run a lot. They will run some man.
bro.
When they blitzing, when they gonna blitz, Spags will throw a blitz in there, and they gonna give him a 1-on-1. It's gonna be Tua's time to hit it.
You played on our offense. I'll be damn. You think we not gonna play you how everybody else played us? You're not doing nothing that game, bro. I'm sorry.
Yeah, they gonna give him.
You're gonna get like a couple like on some quick because you know how Tua is with his arm. Like, hey, as soon as he see him like even get 5 yards up the field and they turn their head around, they're getting. So I can see something like that, but we're not letting you. No, bro.
Yeah.
Come on, 13. Hey, bro, we seen it. We scored touchdowns within like 20 seconds. He was a part of that game.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. That was ridiculous. Like, no.
We know about you, bro. I think it's gonna be fun though. I think that's. I don't even think it's gonna be as offensive as people
I don't think either.
Right.
It'll be a lot of defensive play, I think, in that game. And as long as they can figure out that and don't let that speed burn them, the Chiefs are really, really good at not letting back big plays happen. Even with this next game coming up, Zach Wilson. I mean, not Zach Wilson, but who's the wide receiver there?
Garrett Wilson.
Garrett Wilson. He's a burner too. Don't let that speed get you over the top. The Chiefs have been really good at that.
Let's just see how they wide receiver tests.
Yeah, they're gonna be real.
Garrett Wilson, Justin Jefferson in Minnesota. We got some doozies coming up, and Tyreek is one of them a little later. But yeah,
we're gonna see how real they are.
Yeah, we're about to find out.
We saw a lot of offenses kick back up this week when we saw kind of the down of the offense over the first couple of weeks. I think the offense has found their footing, and thankfully it seems like the Chiefs have also found theirs. And to pair with their dominant defense right now, we are, we're back to feeling overly confident that we should win 49-0. We're never going to predict that because we learned our lesson. Yes. Y'all are going to get the worst, lowest scored prediction possible. So we can be so happy when we got what we wanted instead of being
27 and under from us.
So, guys, what a great show and what a great showing out of our team. Any final thoughts before we bid adieu?
Let's go kick the Jets' ass. Kick Salah's ass. We kick Salah's ass. We go into MetLife. We give Miko that reunion that he's been waiting on. Drop his Super Bowl ring off and tell him to kick rocks, bro. We on to the next, and we trying to win another one without you. I feel like we go in there and we have to handle business. Sunday night, this is going to be another game where he's going to be spotlighted. Jawan Taylor's going to be spotlighted. We had a test against the Bears. The Bears were good. They were okay. We have not seen a defense like the Jets. We've seen great pass rushers down there in Florida, but these ones on the Jets are for real. And they going to be for real. It's going to be Sunday Night Football. They're going to be trying to get after it. Mahomes is a little banged up. So we better bring our lunch pail and be ready to get to it.
Yep. Dale?
Great birthday gift. I'm definitely happy for a Chiefs win, a dominant win at that. Nothing can honestly top that, but this dinner that I'm about to head out to. But phenomenal by both sides of the ball. They got to keep it up next week. Jets, regardless of Zach Wilson being a starter, I think it's for sure a win. However, this will be a good test for the offense to actually do something against a defense that is phenomenal and is honestly a top 5 defense in the league, regardless of what they doing or how many games they won. So keep it up. Go get some rest. Ice up. Y'all was out the second half. Let's get back to it this week. Jawan Taylor. Let's get over this hump. It's all right. The light was on you for the first couple of games of the season. But at the same time, now you can make that shift, and let's see how it rocks. CJ.
Yep.
We'll see if you get 20. We'll see if you get 20, boy.
The spotlight is on you again, CJ. You're close. You're pinning it down. You're getting a sack every game. If you can go crazy on Sunday night, you then open up that conversation back up.
He need 2 or 3.
Michael Parsons is slowly. If he having another day like he had today.
So
CJ, here we go.
Yeah.
Let's see what you can do at MetLife.
Yeah.
It'll be exciting. Hey, Dale, everything tastes a little sweeter as you approach Victory Monday. I know that. So
yeah.
That birthday cake's going to taste a little sweeter, maybe a hint of red in there that wasn't already there.
Happy birthday to Dale and his wife. Happy birthday to Dale and his wife. His wife's birthday today, too.
Appreciate y'all, man. I tell everybody said that. We appreciate y'all. We about to go enjoy it.
Yes, sir. We will be back here next week following the Sunday night game, as mentioned. Hopefully, another decisive victory or whatever. But whatever it is, the gang and I will be back here with you all to break that game down, just like we were here. Had a fantastic evening. I'm about to enjoy the rest of my evening as well, as I'm sure all of y'all go do your own celebrations as you know to do it. So thank you all for a fantastic evening. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday and enjoy your Victory Monday. And with that, go Chiefs!
Thanks for checking out this update straight from the heart of Chiefs Kingdom. We appreciate your passion, so please leave a like and follow us wherever you tune in from. See you next tailgates, your trusted source for all